Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. So the last update about unfortunate love was how Rishi's love and prayer brings Lakshmi back to life and Lakshmi finally regained consciousness. Then Rishi realized that he is actually in love with Lakshmi and not Malishka. So let's continue from there. Rishi's heart is arguing with his brain. His mind tells him that he doesn't love Lakshmi. His heart says you love Lakshmi and that is why you brought Lakshmi back home even after divorce because he did not want Lakshmi to marry a wrong guy like Balvinda. Rishi's mind says I care and worry for Lakshmi. His heart says this is love, but Rishi's mind says no, it is not love. Rishi's heart asks his mind why he did not bring Malishka home. Rishi's mind asks why. When I have promised Malishka of marriage, then why do I need to bring her home now? His heart says you can give your life for Lakshmi, but when Lakshmi does the same, you scold her and you get angry. He says you don't want to lose Lakshmi, and you had called her as your Lakshmi, and says your life is nothing without Lakshmi. Rishi's heart tells his mind that you said this to Lakshmi many times, that she is your peace, and you want to marry her. Rishi's mind recalls saying it to Lakshmi many times, and he recalls their moment together. Rishi's heart says that saint told you that if you love Lakshmi, then your love will save Lakshmi from every trouble. And what happened? Lakshmi got her consciousness because of your love. Rishi's heart says that Lakshmi could have gone into coma, but she did not go because of you and your love. You love Lakshmi, and he asks him to accept this. He asks that until when will you need proof, and says you cry for Lakshmi, and you get happy for her. You fight with the word for her. You fight with even your mom. He says you are Lakshmi's friend and savior, and your heartbeat is for her, and you are ready to give your breath to Lakshmi. Rishi's heart asks him to just look at himself and think. His mind looks at the photos. His heart says you love Lakshmi. Rishi's mind says I love Lakshmi. A song plays in the background. Rishi's heart asks Rishi to say it aloud that he loves Lakshmi, and Rishi's mind shouted saying I love Lakshmi. He shouted and says I love you Lakshmi. Rishi opens his eyes sitting on the bench and says I love Lakshmi. He thanks God and says I realize that I love Lakshmi. He says everyone used to say it, that I love Lakshmi, but I did not listen to anyone or trusted them. He says I couldn't tell Lakshmi that I love her because I don't know it myself, but now I realized it, that I love Lakshmi. Rishi says to himself that I love Lakshmi, and he thinks that he will not waste time and he will tell Lakshmi that he loves her. He gets happy and says I love Lakshmi, and he is very happy. Malishka comes to the hospital and asks if Lakshmi is admitted here. The receptionist asks that who is Malishka to Lakshmi, and Malishka says that it is none of your business. The receptionist refused to tell Malishka if Lakshmi is there, and Malishka says that she is Lakshmi's friend. Rishi thinks if he should tell Lakshmi that he loves her, and he thinks of what Lakshmi would think. He thinks that he has already wasted much time, and he thinks to tell Lakshmi that he loves her. He then thinks that the place and the time is not right, so he would wait. Ayush is driving the car while everyone is in the car. He asks them not to worry. Virendra worries for Lakshmi, and this upsets Neelam. Neelam says Rishi is not picking my call. Grandma says something has happened. That is why Rishi is not picking the call. And Ayush says everything will be good. Bani and Shalu are in the auto going to the hospital. Bani says our sister will be fine. Shalu says Lakshmi will be fine and says we should pray to God that she should be fine. Ranu calls Shalu and asks that where are they? Shalu says they are going to the place where Ayush called them to. Ranu says Rishi should have informed them how Lakshmi is doing, and she asks her to inform her if she should come there once they see Lakshmi, and she ends the call. Ayush messages Shalu asking her to come to the city hospital. Shalu asks the driver to take them to city hospital. Rishi thinks that he should tell Lakshmi that he loves her and he comes inside. Lakshmi thinks of Rishi and thinks that the doctor said that Rishi brought me here. Rishi asks Lakshmi how she is feeling and says I know that you will say that you are feeling perfect so that I don't get worried. Rishi says to Lakshmi that actually I wanted to tell you something, but I don't know if this place and time is right or wrong. But now I realized it, so I need to tell you. Rishi says to Lakshmi that everyone understood, but I couldn't understand. Lakshmi thinks that what is he saying, because she couldn't understand anything, because she just regained consciousness. Rishi says, Lakshmi, what I want to tell you, I don't know how you will react, but you need to know. He says you can get angry with me and slap me also, and he asks her to do whatever she wants to him, and he will not get angry. He says, I will talk with my heart and I will say what is in my heart, and after that, I will be happy. Malishka thinks that Rishi did not tell anyone where he is, and she thinks that once I find him, then I will scold him. Balvinda knocks on the door. Rano thinks if Shalu and Bani had returned. She then thinks that they just talked to her now. Balvinda doesn't speak and he keeps on knocking on the door, and Rano wondered who is it. Rano picks the broom and opens the door. She sees Balvinda and asks that what is he doing. Balvinda says he wanted to do vigilance and that is why he came here. He asks Rano to give him the money that he gave to her so that he can marry Lakshmi. He says he couldn't get Lakshmi, so he should get back his money. Rano says to Balvinda that she doesn't have the money and says that it is spent. Balvinda says, I had given you my hard-earned money for getting my marriage done with Lakshmi. Rano asks him to go. Balvinda says he will not go until he gets his money. Rano says, I will break your hand and legs and I will get you beaten up by the neighbors, and she asks him to leave. Balvinda says to Rano that if you call any neighbor, then I will beat them. Rano says, I will beat you, and she hit him with the broom. Rano says, you want money, but you don't deserve to get a chiller, and you are asking for money. She says, I am mad already, and you are asking for money. Rano says to Balvinda that Lakshmi got burnt there, and you are here asking for money. Balvinda says, what happened to Lakshmi? Rano tells him everything, and Balvinda asks if they are sworn to do drama wherever they go, and says, until I get married to Lakshmi, then I will not let anything happen to her, and I will snatch her from that Rishi. Balvinda asks Rano where Lakshmi is. Rano says she doesn't know. Balvinda says I will find out about the hospital, and he tells Rano that he wants his money back from her. Rano asks him to leave and she gets angry and throws him out, and Balvinda leaves. Malishka gets Balvinda's call. She thinks that this fool is calling again and says if Rishi comes to know that I'm in contact with Balvinda, then everything will be finished, and she thinks to end this matter once and for all. Malishka picks the call and asks if she is Balvinda's slave, but Balvinda says you are Rishi's slave and Lakshmi is mine. Balvinda says to Malishka that he is worried since he came to know about Lakshmi's condition, and he asks that where is Lakshmi. Malishka asks if she is Lakshmi's secretary and says she will message him if she comes to know where Lakshmi is. She ends the call and she sees the ICU, so she thinks that Lakshmi might be there. Rishi tells Lakshmi that he was scared when she fell unconscious and he went to Matarani to pray for her, and he brought tilak for her, and then he applied the tilak to her forehead. He says, I met a man there and the man told me to apply the tilak on your forehead and I should give you kiss on your forehead too, and I did all that. Malishka opens the ICU door, but Rishi and Lakshmi are not there. Rishi tells Lakshmi that he is feeling shy and today he saw his heart and mind fighting, and he tells her that his heart has won because his heart was saying the truth. He says it was my mistake that I couldn't see the truth and I couldn't understand, but all the misunderstandings are cleared now. Rishi says to Lakshmi that I came to know whom I love, and the person I love is you, Lakshmi. He says, I really love you, Lakshmi. I love you truly. He goes on confessing his love to Lakshmi repeatedly, and Lakshmi looks at him cluelessly, as if she doesn't remember him or know who he is. Rishi says, I love you to Lakshmi, and he gets hairy eyes. Malishka thinks that where should I check Rishi and Lakshmi, and she thinks to check them in the other ICU. She thinks that the receptionist told her about this floor, but they are not here. Lakshmi tries to talk, but Rishi stops her and says, let me talk. He says, I understood my love for you with much difficulty, and I don't know when I will get a chance to say this to you again. Rishi says to Lakshmi that you might not be believing me. Even I did not believe it earlier that I am in love with you, but trust me, whatever I said is true. I love you and I don't love Malishka. He says, I used to think that I love Malishka, but now I am clear that I just love only you. He says, I used to think that I used to do things for your friendship, but it was because I love you and not for friendship. Rishi says to Lakshmi that it is the relationship of pain, and this is love, because we can give our lives for each other. He asks if Lakshmi wants to slap him, and he asks her to slap him. He holds Lakshmi's hand and slaps on his face, holding her hand, while a song plays in the background. The nurse comes to give Lakshmi injection. Lakshmi looks at Rishi cluelessly, and she closes her eyes. Rishi tells the nurse that Lakshmi has fainted. The nurse tells Rishi that Lakshmi is fine, but her memory is weak. She says when Lakshmi had regained consciousness, Then the doctor talks to her. A flashback is shown. The doctor sends Rishi out and he checks Lakshmi's vitals. The doctor says to the nurse that I hope that Lakshmi did not lose her memory. He asks Lakshmi that how are you and asks if she have pain. He says we have given her painkillers but there will be some pain. He asks that what is your name? Lakshmi says my name is Lakshmi. The doctor asks that what is your husband's name and Lakshmi says I don't know. Lakshmi tells the doctor that the man says that I am Lakshmi. The doctor tells the nurse that Lakshmi has lost her memory and he tells Lakshmi that this is happening due to the medicine effect and he asks her to take care. He tells the nurse that he will consult the specialist and the flashback ends. The nurse tells Rishi that Lakshmi has lost her memory and now she has lost her consciousness again and says that the doctor talked to the specialist who asked them to give Lakshmi this injection. The nurse says let's hope that this is just the medicine effect and Lakshmi will recover her memory back. She says let's hope for the best and Rishi gets worried. Malishka thinks that where is Rishi and she gets worried. Rishi comes out of the ICU. Malishka sees him and hugs him and asks if he is fine. She says she is happy to see him fine and she cries. Rishi asks if Malishka is fine. Malishka says yes and says she was getting bad thought and she asks that why didn't you call anyone to let them know where he is. Malishka asks Rishi that where is Lakshmi. She asks if Lakshmi is fine. Rishi says Lakshmi is in the ICU. Malishka says I will call Neelam auntie to let her know that you are here and Malishka calls Neelam. Rishi recalls Malishka telling him that she cannot hold the rod to save him because it is hot and he recalls how Lakshmi saved him holding the same hot rod. Rishi asks Malishka to stop and come out with him. He takes Malishka and they go out together. Balvinda thinks that Malishka is clever and she is not calling him to tell him where Lakshmi is. He thinks that Malishka got Rishi, but Lakshmi tied calmly with me and he gets angry. Rishi takes Malishka out of the hospital and he asks if she loves him. Malishka says I have proved my love to you many times and says I love you repeatedly. Rishi asks why didn't you save me if you truly love me? He says I asked you to save me, but Malishka interrupts and says I tried to save you but I couldn't and you saw everything. Rishi says to Malishka that I saw everything, how I tried to save myself and how you were busy saving yourself. He says after some point, your focus was on just to save yourself. Malishka says I did as per the situation and says that nobody could have saved you in that situation. Rishi says but Lakshmi saved me in the same situation and Malishka looks on. Rishi says to Malishka that what you should have done, Lakshmi has done. He says I asked for an help from you but you did not save me. Malishka asks do you want to say that Lakshmi loves you? Rishi says I am not saying that and he asks Malishka again that why did you not save me and he gets angry. Malishka says to Rishi that the incident was big and says even if your mom and dad were there, then also they wouldn't have saved you. She asks if you would have said this to them also and says you are not seeing my effort but you only saw that Lakshmi saved you. Rishi says to Malishka that I am saying what is the truth. Malishka says even I was about to die in the same fire and she asks Rishi that why didn't you save me but Lakshmi saved me instead. She asks that what will be your answer, that you were stuck and that is why you couldn't save me and Rishi says exactly. Malishka says to Rishi that I should have tried more but I did not and she asks Rishi that why can't you see my effort. She asks if Rishi is saying this because Lakshmi is in this condition and says if I had saved you then Lakshmi wouldn't have been in this condition and she asks if Rishi wanted her to be in that hospital bed instead of Lakshmi and then he would have been happy. Rishi asks Malishka to stop it and says I can never think bad about you. Malishka says I tried but I couldn't save you. She says I love you so why would I not save you? She says if anything had happened to you then I would have died in that same fire. She says I love you Rishi and she hugs him. Lakshmi in an unconscious state recalls Rishi saying that he loves her and he doesn't love Malishka. She recalls Rishi crying and tears roll down her eyes. Neelam and others reach the hospital. Neelam asks Rishi if he is fine and says thank God you are safe. She sees Rishi's injury and hugs him and Grandma and Virendra also hugs Rishi. Neelam asks Rishi why he was not picking her call. Karishma says we all were worried. Rishi says I was worried myself and says Lakshmi. Neelam says what Lakshmi? She says you are in this condition because of Lakshmi. First you were caught in the fire and then you met with an accident and it is all because of Lakshmi. Neelam says to Rishi that as long as that inauspicious Lakshmi is in your life, then nothing can be fine. Rishi says this is not right. The fire in the hotel was not caught because of Lakshmi. He says, in fact, Lakshmi had saved people from getting burnt, and she saved Malishka and me. And if Lakshmi was not there, then Malishka and I would have been burnt and would have become ashes by now. Rishi says to Neelam that Lakshmi risked her life and saved me again, and Neelam is shocked. Grandma asks Rishi that where is Lakshmi? Virendra asks that how is Lakshmi? Rishi says Lakshmi is fine and she has taken a big risk and she has touched death and she came back, but she is in a very serious condition. Rishi tells everyone that the doctor had said that Lakshmi can slip into coma, and I was worried. Grandma asks if Lakshmi is fine. Rishi says Lakshmi is not fine, but she is better now. Ayush asks Rishi and says I knew it, that as long as you and Lakshmi are together, then you both will not let anything happen to each other. Virendra says to everyone that we should go inside. Karishma asks Rishi and Malishka that what were they doing here. Malishka lied and says that she brought Rishi outside in order to give him strength, and Karishma praises Malishka. Ayush and others comes to the ward, but the nurse says that this is the ICU, so all of them cannot go in at once. The family tells the nurse that they will see Lakshmi and they will leave immediately. Grandma kisses Lakshmi's hand, but Lakshmi is unconscious. Ayush asks Malishka that what do you use to tell Lakshmi that she is clever, she is a conspirator, she is cunning, and says what was that word again, that she is inauspicious and bad luck, but you are standing here today because of Lakshmi. Ayush asks Malishka to thank sister-in-law Lakshmi whenever she meet her. Malishka says if I was in Lakshmi's place, then I would have saved her too. The nurse asks them to go from there. Virendra asks when will Lakshmi regain consciousness, and the nurse says the doctor will tell them after the checkup. Shalu and Bani comes to the hospital and they see Lakshmi. The nurse asks them to go, and Ayush says they are Lakshmi's sister. Shalu asks if her sister is fine and if there is anything to worry about. The nurse says no, everything is fine, and Shalu asks Lakshmi. Thank God that Rishi was there to witness who saved him. If not, Malishka would have lied that she was the one that saved Rishi, just like she did during their fake marriage that canopy fell on Rishi, that she now lied that she was the one that brought him out from the canopy. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you all again in my next video. Don't forget to like this video and share it. Bye guys.